In this video, you will find out how to pick the perfect pigment and to always have the perfect healed results. And the good news is that you don't need 20 pigments. You only need 4 pigments and corrector. She's a little slower. And if you did it like this until now, you will find out how to do it properly. But before we tell you the magic method of how to choose the perfect pigment, I will first explain to you the differences between the pigments. Organic pigments are highly concentrated, they have small molecules and they enter the skin very easily. It's very easy to work with them, but you have to be careful. Do not oversaturate them. The problem with organic pigment is that they have tendency to heal grayish and they are much colder. On the other hand, the mineral pigments, they have bigger molecules, they are harder to work with them, the work is slower. You can imagine them as a little sharp stones and they irritate the skin much more when they enter the skin. So it's harder to work with them, it takes longer, but they heal more warmer and you don't need to warm them up that much as organics. Mineral pigments, they don't dissolve in the water, they sink to the bottom, and you can do this test easily at home to see which pigments you are working with. And you can see it now on the test that I just did here. It's important to know which pigments you have in your hands and adjust them accordingly. You should always remember that organic pigments has the tendency to heal more grayish and colder, and over the time they fade grayish, and that's why they need warm up much more than minerals. On the other hand, mineral pigments, they heal more warmer and they always fade reddish over the time, and they don't need so much warming up as the organics. Another method how you can find out which pigment you have in your hands is take the bottle and look at the ingredients list. You can see that there are CI, which is color index, and 5 numbers after the CI letters. You can Google the CI numbers and find out which colorants is in the bottle. If it starts with 77 or 76, it's minerals. All the rest is organics. And if you did it this way until now, then I have very bad news for you. There is no such a thing as ideal pigment. There is no easy solution. And if you want to be the real artist, then you need to learn how to adjust your pigment to each of your clients. I consider the perfect pigment the one that is neutral because it's really easy to adjust the pigment to each of my clients' skin undertone. And it really doesn't matter if you work with minerals, organics or hybrid pigments. The important thing is to have the neutral one, because with neutral you can adjust the warmest as you need to each client's type and use it and be always sure how warmer you have it. And if you had that easy solution, that means you have pre-mixed pigment, pre-warmed pigments, you are really not sure how warm it actually is. And if you have been doing it like this until now, it's really good that you are watching this video. Forget about 20 pigments, you don't need that many shades. You only need like 4 or 5 pigments and adjust them accordingly to each of your clients. But before you choose your pigments to work with, you need to study them. Make sure that you have the neutral color, find out what color it is and what undertone it has. It's nothing easier than to smudge them on the paper and look for the undertones. If you see the yellow undertone, this is the neutral pigments and this one you should go with. Of course, with the darker color you will see a grayish undertone because all of the dark colors always are grayish. They are more carbon based because they need to be dark. With the darker color you always need to warm them up anyways. And since you already got to know your colors, it's time to get to know your client. Hi, I'm Veronica. Hi, I'm Misha. And now it's finally time for the big secret, how to get to know the undertone of your client. And I am actually speaking about how cold the client is. The most important thing about our skin is not the color itself, but it's actually the undertone. We need to care if the undertone is cold, neutral, or warm. Believe it or not, but I have never ever had a client that is actually warm undertone. Maybe it's because where I live, I'm not sure, but it really never happened to me. I always had a client that is more colder or neutral. But I have a good news for you. The only reliable indicator for us is the color of the veins. Let's say I would open Misha's wrist. The fact is that the blue veins are always the same blue color. No matter of the human race, it is still the same blue color. And that's why the veins are the most important indicator of our skin undertone. When our skin covers the vein, it changes the color, it shows us different color, and that's how we can determine which of the undertone each of us has. Now I see blue, but Misha see blue-green. Well, that means our eyes are lying. So how can we help ourselves? So this color wheel is now your best friend, because when your eye is looking at the vein, it can actually read the exact color. You need to place something next to the vein, in this case the color wheel, so your eyes can compare the both color and tell you exactly which color it is. So basically our eyes need to compare to determine what color it is exactly. So for example, I thought I was cold. I thought that my veins are blue, but they are actually blue-green. So that means I'm more neutral, I'm only slightly cold. So if you see that the veins appear more purple or dark blue, it means that the person is really cold. If you see that the person has more blue-green, that means this person is more neutral, only slightly cold. And it means only one thing, that we need to warm up the color. And in this situation, our best friend is the orange corrector. But now you must be wondering, how much of the orange corrector should I add to my cup? How much should I add for the colder types? How much should I add to the more neutral type? Well, I'm not telling you in this video, but I have a great news for you. I created a unique PDF that will be your guide how to mix the colors and how to warm them up correctly, so you will always have the perfect healed results. And you will find the link in the description below or in the comments. If you like this video, you can also check other videos in our channel. And if you're more interested about mixing the colors, you can always sign up for a waiting list for my unique new online course, How to Mix the Colors. The link is also in the description below.